This one's from Steve in the United Kingdom, and that's a nice part of the show that we do get a lot of people from overseas, particularly the UK. And this was about his daughter, Isla. She was 2.5 years old. And she started having these experiences, and she started talking about someone by the name of Big Dora. For example, one night about midnight, this little girl woke up screaming, Steve says, and the father said, "What's wrong?" She said, "Big Dora shouted at me." And he thought quite naturally that she was talking about the cartoon character Dora the Explorer. He said she couldn't take her hands off her eyes, and she tried to take them off, and his daughter wouldn't let him. Said that Big Dora kept shouting at her. And this kept going on and on. One night, Isla was talking to the front door, and he started listening. His wife actually brought the phone over. He wasn't at home. And it turns out that his daughter was talking again to Big Dora. And over the next few months, this Dora character became an obsession with Isla. And it got to the point where she wouldn't walk through the house by herself, that they had to pick her up and carry her wherever she went. She would scream quite a lot that Big Dora was there and shouting at her. Then something strange happened to Steve. He was sitting in the living room all alone. He was watching a program, a documentary on television. It was nighttime. I think everybody was in bed. And out of the left-hand corner of his eye, there was a shadow figure that walked across where the curtains were. And it actually kind of morphed almost into the shape of strangely enough, the shape of a tornado. And all of these things kept going on, and he said, "We've got to find out what's going on here." So he called in some psychics and some mediums. And when the mediums came, his daughter was in the yard, in the garden, as they say over there. He let the mediums in, and his daughter came running in the house, and she said, "I can hear Big Dora. I can see Big Dora." Or, no, that's what she usually said. But this time, apparently, she was saying, "No, no, no." And Dora didn't want to go, and she didn't want to talk to the mediums. And it turned out that Big Dora went upstairs. So they followed her. And this was in Steve's bedroom, right in front of his bedroom wardrobe. And the medium said, "Just concentrate, just be quiet." They stood there, and all of a sudden, the room became freezing cold. But it was August. And the mediums were muttering away. Steve wasn't sure what they were saying. And then it was like someone closed a freezer door. The room warmed up, and the mediums opened their eyes, and they said, "She's gone. A little fat man came and took her away." They explained to Steve that the reason the Big Dora was here was because Isla reminded her of her own daughter. So they decided to do some research. And, Dora, when she was upset, would always leave the house. And it turned out that he got a letter after doing some historical work from a historian, sent her a photograph. It was from 1944. Turns out that his house had been shelled by the Germans just before the end of the war. And in this email, he got the information that there was a lady who lived next door. And she died during the shelling, and her name was Dora Smith.